So the city can do the same thing. I commend what's been done with the cuts, and I'm sure that if you'll put me in, that I'll be a part of tightening it even further, because I'm real good at that. My employees get very tired because it's like down to the pencil with me and every eraser, and I do keep track of stuff because that's how you make money in business, and that's how you save people taxes in the city.
Thank you, Brent. Let's go to Wade Bigler.
I'm sorry, what was it about tightening our belt?
We are all having to tighten our belts. Why and how can North Ogden do more with less?
Well, I'll tell you what I do, what I would do if I get elected, and that's basically all I'll speak to on this, is I told you I've studied every city code and every ordinance and every state law. I've cared for many years. I've lived here 16 years, and I've really cared about the city a lot. This is the first time in my adult life where I've had time. I've been involved in some other things that didn't allow me the time to officially put my name in to serve officially. But I think as far as tightening the belt, what I would do is just take a close look at where every penny's going. And if I'm elected, I will do that. And eliminate any wasteful spending. And I know the people that in there I respect them very much, and they work hard and do a good job. But tightening the belt, you just look and live just like a family would, or you with your home. If you need to tighten the belt, you take a look at where your expenditures are and say, we've been going out to dinner 10 times a month. How tight do we need to do the belt? Should we go out 5 times a month or twice a month, or maybe for a few months let's not go out at all? And so just wisdom and balance, and finding any place we can to cut and tighten the belt that's wise and with common sense, that won't hurt us, but that will bless us and help us.
Thank you, Wade. Let's hear from Brian Bott.
Thank you. I had a project going before the City Council in Syracuse probably a month and a half ago. Happened to be on the same agenda that they were discussing their budget. And if any of you have read the papers, you'll see that you're aware that Syracuse has had some really serious financial issues to deal with. And the mayor wished all of the new candidates running for office well, and told them that you may find that things are not always as they appear to be. And I rushed from that meeting back to, I guess it was the next day, there was an emergency meeting called here in North Ogden to discuss the budget. And as the City Council deliberated over the issues before them as to how to cut even more money out of the budget that they'd already cut, these were really tough decisions, and I began to realize that what the mayor in Syracuse was saying was probably true. Until you are faced with those situations that the City Council deals with, you don't really know how you're going to react. It's easy for us to say what we would do, but you've got to be looking very closely. You're dealing with people's oh, that wasn't for me. I saw no more.
Actually, it was for me, but I couldn't read it.
The City Council struggled with the idea of, do we do something with Cherry Days or don't we do something with Cherry Days? And whatever decisions you make, they're going to affect people in one way or another. So the secret, I think, is get as much input as you can get, be wise in the decisions that you make, have enough information that the decisions you make are good decisions. But they're tough ones.
Thank you, Brian. Let's hear from Nick McIntosh.
I think this kind of goes out to the whole community of what are we willing to do without. They could cut thousands out of the snow removal, but are we willing to drive on roads that haven't been plowed or won't be plowed for a couple days or be plowed late? So it kind of comes down to the whole community, what we're going to do, what we can do or cannot do without. I know the emergency meeting, City Manager Dickey brought up Cherry Days, and when he did, he thought he was going to get lynched because it's sacred out here. But that's something that the citizens want, and they want to put money into. The City Council kind of got beat up on that this year, on the taxes and the tax rate or tax hike. But I've sat through a lot of these, and it's not just something it's easy to sit down and, you know, like Brian said, you know, it's easy to say, well, I can do this or I won't do that. It's a hard issue. You're dealing with people's lives. The city employees out here, from my understanding, didn't get any raise at all this year. So they're taking a hit.
always a lot of loose money. It's a real effort to keep it tied down. For example, the new Public Works building. They're proposing to buy a property and build a building, and the figures they were talking about were double what we could build the building for. My son-in-law built a building that was bigger for half as much. There's no need to go buy more property. We have the property, and it'd be an ideal place for a public works building. The property is already available. The city already owns it. So those are the kind of decisions you can cut off thousands and even hundreds of thousands pretty quick. And as I looked at some of these budgets, I was amazed at how much they had stacked on for administrative costs. And they had the administration in several levels. Now, who's paying for that? Somebody's got to pay for that. I'm telling you, they could cut a lot and still have the services as good as they are. And I think that's what a responsible mayor and city council should do. Because it's always so easy to spend somebody else's money than it is when you pay them your own. I'm sure they could cut costs. If I were mayor, I would endeavor to do that.
Thank you, Reed. Let's hear from Richard Harris.
Well, as revenues decrease, then your expenditures are going to decrease. Your budget has to be cut, and it has been cut in North Ogden. There's no other way to get around it. You have to balance your budget. We're just like all of you in the city. We work very hard at looking at the various items that we have in our budget, and we have done a lot of work in keeping our costs low. Of course, I believe in keeping costs low as we can. I disagree that we're heavy. I'd like to see where all this loose money is. Okay, because I don't know where it is. So where do we tighten our belts? We've already tightened our belt in North Ogden. As mentioned, our employees are not getting any merit pay or any raises. We're not hiring any new people.